Next up is Mona Bada's Niki Smit. And Niki will present Mona Bada's anti-game. It's going to be interesting. Called Boom. I say Boom because it's a slow game. It's meant to calm the player down and has been praised for its unique game design. Ladies and gentlemen, Niki Smit.
Thanks. First off, I came here wanting to talk about Boom, but that appointment was made 2 weeks ago and I got bored, and at the last moment none of my colleagues would want to come here and see me speak. So I took it upon myself to make this my party. So I'm not going to talk only about Boom, I'm going to talk about my inspiration for it too. But starting with a little introduction, Mona Bada made a game, and that game is Boom. And it's a very simple game. It's a game where you grow a tree. And that's it. It's only a tree. There's no energy meter. There's no points to be had. There's not even goals. It's just a simple tree on a floating island. And it's just standing there. And the first time you start the game, you think from, okay, maybe this is a screensaver. It doesn't look like a game. It doesn't have press start. It doesn't even have a title screen. But then you start pushing buttons, and just clicking on a button doesn't do anything. But holding a button down will maybe move a camera, or make a branch grow, or start some sort of interaction. And that's the game experience you'll have. It's a game where you slowly evolve and slowly learn the interaction model, what you have to do. And you can do things like take up nutrition from the ground and grow new branches and really make your own tree. So this whole game is generative. It's a different tree every time you make it while you play. And yeah, anti-game, I don't know, somewhere someone picked that up. It's not really an anti-game, but it is true that it's sort of a not game. I mean, the interaction isn't push a button and something happens. It's far more drawn out and far slower. So that's a strange game. And we thought of it ourselves. And in such a strange concept goes a lot of thought. And that's what I want to talk about, because hey, this is not a commercial talk, this is my party now, and I have inspiration for this game. And it's a very slow game. It's a game where not a lot of things happen, and I don't want to take inspiration for a game from other games. I want to take inspiration from emotions, from things that excite me. And one of the first things, and one of my personal favorites, is the Small Pleasures thing in Amélie. I think you all know that movie, and if you don't, boy, have you a beautiful movie to watch. And that game showed, among other things, how good it is and how fun it is to watch small guilty pleasures. Not the big thing of falling in love, but the small things in touching grain with your fingers. The second thing are games like these, games without goals, games like Nobi Nobi Boy, Electroplankton and Lingering Shadows. Games that are about the moment, but the biggest inspiration is this guy. Please remember him. Far too few people know him. It's Andrei Tarkovsky. It's a dead Russian director, one of the big 8. Of course he's dead. One of the big 8 in the same line as Stanley Kubrick, Akira Kurosawa, and he made very slow, drawn-out movies where not a lot happens. Kind of sounds like Boom already. And he made those movies. They were more like a dream. Some of those movies didn't even have a real story. They were more like dreamlike sentences woven into each other. And the thing he did, he said, montage, the editing of a movie, I like to see that like Matsu Bashao did, Matsu Basho, and he is an even older and more dead guy. And he is like the first guy that made Japanese haikus. And Tarkovsky said, a haiku can be used like editing. When you have a haiku like this, an old pond, a frog jumps in, sound of water. For the ones who don't know what a haiku is, it's a small Japanese poem. And the beauty of a haiku is, it creates a few rules that's me. But the beauty of a haiku is between those rules. When you read the old poem, the frog jumps in, I immediately think of summer. I think of dragonflies. I think of leaves in the water, stuff like that. So that poetic beeldtaal, how do you say it? Poetic visual language is something he had down pat. And this sounds like artsy-fartsy talk to apply that to games, but there's already one game that did it. Shadow of the Colossus, a big commercial hit that took it upon itself to make its whole play area empty. No other persons, no other enemies except for the end bosses, no extra characters to tell you what the story is, just you in this lonely place alone. And that made it cool because then you can start think yourself, and I think that's the best thing you can do as a game designer, to give to your player. Give them something else to think about. Don't make everything stuck. Give them room. Respect the intellect and the fantasy of your player.